Barcelona shamefully go out in the UCL semifinal. And yes, this is supposed to be a match review, but I'm really just going to review the big moment of the match, which is when Barca lost the game. Now, if I made this video on the day of the game, it would have been a very different video, and my channel probably wouldn't even still be up anyways, because I would have been hating to another level, not just on Barcelona, but also on Inter. But I'll be a bit more fair this time. And yes, the game, you can say that ended 4-3 to Inter after extra time. But the main points are that Barcelona, once again, against Inter for the second time in 1 week, go into the game on the back foot. Inter going into this game had 3 losses in a row and didn't score a single goal in those losses. So to go into both of these games against Inter on the back foot and concede 2 goals before you even score 1 against a team with that form, that's the first thing. That's shameful. And I know Barcelona this whole season, they've done this thing where it's, yeah, we go behind and then they end up coming back. Yeah, this is the whole stick with them. They're a comeback mentality monster, sure. But this is not sustainable in the big games or for a whole season. It's not sustainable. You cannot make a comeback against every single team. Now, yes, they did make a comeback, but at the end of the day, they lost the game. So whether they made that comeback or not, they lost the game. It doesn't really matter. So, Barca going to the game 2-0 at halftime, Inter's leading 2-0. They come out of the second half much better, and they make it 2-2. Of course, those plays were ridiculously good. I mean, Gerard Martin put in some great crosses, and I'll talk about the players on a player-by-player basis in a little bit. But yeah, it was a great comeback to make it 2-1 from a great Eric Garcia finish from a good Martin cross, 2-1. Then once again, another good Martin cross, 2-2, Daniel Olmo, good header. And then, of course, the game goes on. Barca make it 3-2 in the 87th minute. Now, this is where the whole issue starts. This is where you start really hating. Because what happens since the 87th minute? Now, we know all of Hansi Flick's tactics are attack, 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 which is what it should be for the main part of the game. But game management has to be a factor of it. You shouldn't be all-out attack in the 94th minute of a game. I'm not saying park the bus for a whole game. If anything, I'm completely against that. And I'll maybe say something about Inter in a little bit. But game management. Manage a game when you need to management. When you need to manage it. 92nd minute, Barca have a play, and Yamal goes and attacks and hits a post. If that goal goes in, of course, yes, great goal. Barca 2-goal lead. Barca's in the final. Yes, great goal. But it didn't go in the net. It hit the post. Now, you can say that's unlucky. Yeah, this is typical Barcelona. The margins are never in Barcelona's favor when it comes to big games. They've never been in Barcelona's favor. Barca have to be absolutely perfect and score so many goals and be so much better than the opposition to get through these games. Even in 2015, when they last won the competition, Barca had to be head and shoulders above the opponents every single round to win the competition. They had to destroy PSG. They had to destroy Man City. They had to destroy Bayern Munich in the semifinal. They had to destroy Juventus in the final. Barca had to be head and shoulders better, and it never comes down to the margins for them. The margins are never in their favor to win. So they have to be that much better for their game to actually fall in their favor. So 92nd minute, Yamal hits a post. Instead of going to the corner flag and wasting time, Barca attack and try to take a shot. And from there, this was the moment Acerbi scored. So 92nd minute, as you can see here, 92nd minute off the post from Yamal. 40 seconds later, that was when Acerbi took the shot. This is how close Barca was to UCL final. This is how close. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how close they were. This is ridiculously unbelievable. It is unbelievable that you allow I don't have the screenshot up. Barcelona had 4 players back because they were attacking in the 92nd minute. That is completely and utterly unbelievable. It should never be the case. It's not something that Hansi Flick is necessarily at fault of. Yes, he has to tell the players to stop attacking and try to waste time, but he gets to blame a little bit. But the players should know it's a 92nd minute of a UCL second leg semifinal that you've made the comeback of. You're on the verge of the final. Waste the time. Waste it. What happens now? Dumfries puts in a cross. Martin is very weak. Now you can say it's a foul. I think it could go either way. But like I said, Barca never have the margins. Anything that is marginal in this competition will never fall in Barca's favor. Never. So when that's the case, when Barca know that, they should know this. Maybe they don't pay attention to it, but the margins are never in Barca's favor. When this is the case, do your utmost to absolutely just completely nullify any possible attack. Just defend. No one's saying point the ball. Just have a bit more players back and don't attack. 93rd minute, and look how Araujo is defending. Up here. A 37-year-old center back who's completely washed physically. The only physical quality he has left in him is whatever stamina he has left and his height. That's the only thing he has left. You have Araujo in his prime physically, 6'4", built like a tank, unbelievably fast, and he doesn't even get in front of Acerbi. He's holding Acerbi. Doesn't even get in front of him. The only thing in front of Acerbi is his left ankle. Get in front of the attacker. Get in front of him. Block whatever is happening. You don't concede a goal like that to a center back in the 93rd minute. This is typical Barcelona, where you have one or a few players that just completely blow it. Now, it's a shame with Araujo because in 2023, he had an absolutely unbelievable year for Barcelona, and he saved them in so many moments and games. He would make a last-ditch tackle. He would always be that defender that leads the back line. Since that PSG game last season, where Barca threw that because of Araujo's red card, he has had a complete inability in big games. He completely crumbles under the pressure. Get in front of the defender. For the Frattesi goal, Araujo is completely standing. He is standing. He is not trying to close out anybody. He's just standing behind whoever this was. Kubarsi, I think he's standing behind Kubarsi and is not covering whatever space is left. He is just completely and utterly static. He is loitering, and it just doesn't make sense to me. How can you throw... Look, Barcelona this season have been the absolute and utter best team in the world, whether you like it or not. The only thing I don't like about the UCL is that it's a competition where you could have a team that wins it not really be the best team in the world. Inter has nowhere near been the best team in the world this season. There have been so many better teams than Inter this season. Barcelona is in the contention for being the best team in the world this season. The most goals scored, the best football being played, most dominant attacking-wise. They are the best team this season. And to let someone like this go this late into the game is ridiculous. It should never be happening. There's just no two ways about it. It should never be happening. Araujo has to do better. The team as a whole has to do better. Figure it out. Just don't let it happen, because especially a team like Inter, someone like Inter, they don't go into these games trying to play football. When you have a team that goes into a game with the idea of absorbing pressure and then attacking when something falls in their favor, attacking when a mistake is made, that's not football. Football is creating the mistake, pushing up, attacking, and imposing yourself. That's what football is. If there's a bunch of Inter Milans, Atletico Madrid running around in football, half the teams playing like them, nobody would even watch the sport. But the fact that there's teams like Barcelona, there are teams like Bayern Munich, there have been players like Yamal, Messi, Neymar, Wayne Rooney, a bunch of players that play the sport properly. When you have that, that's when you watch. That's when you have a lot of people watching the sport. They're the reason for it. When you have a team like Inter who are not that interested in playing football and not that interested in imposing themselves, you have to try to at least match them in some forms of the game. And Barcelona had to do that at the end of the game and defend way better. Defend like Inter have been defending. For that reason, I will never respect the brand of football that Inter plays, the brand of football that Chelsea has won the UCL with, the brand of football that Atletico Madrid plays. I will never respect it, but it is a way to play. It is what it is. Barca should have won this game no matter how Inter was playing. Another important point. How do you concede 7 goals to Inter Milan across 2 games? 7 goals in 2 games conceded to a team that didn't score in 3 games straight prior to these 2 games. Not a single goal scored against Bologna, AC Milan, or Roma, and then you concede 7 goals in 2 games. That is ridiculously shameful. Now, Chesney, we're going to go into the player-by-player analysis. I'm not going to speak about Inter's players because, to be honest, I don't like them. Except maybe who should I like in this team? I don't know who I like in this team. I guess Çalhanoğlu is good. I like Çalhanoğlu. On a player-by-player basis for Barcelona, Chesney, he wasn't bad. Yeah, he came off his line a couple of times in moments where Thuram was through one-on-one, but he came out in time to clear the ball. But he couldn't really make the saves. Now, if you see the UCL, you have Jan Sommer with the game of his life. Every time I see a UCL game against Barcelona, the goalkeeper against them has a game of his life. You remember Nesheret in the Kiev game in the group stage against Barcelona? Kiev played a goalkeeper from the academy that never played on the professional level, and he made 12 saves and had a 10.0 rating against Barcelona. This is typical Barcelona. This is what I mean when the margins are not in their favor. You have these minimal things, a goalkeeper that never plays before starting, or a post being hit, and the goalkeeper having an insane performance. It's always little margins that never fall in Barca's favor. So when that happens, you have to play a bit more like the opposition. You have to play a bit more controlled. Chesney, he couldn't do what Sommer did because for some reason, the shots that Inter had was an open net for Lautaro, a penalty, and then, of course, Acerbi puts the top bins. He has never scored a goal in his UCL career, and he puts a ball in top bins. It just doesn't make sense to me. So Chesney couldn't really do much. It is what it is. Of course, maybe if he could have made some more saves in the first leg, I guess I would have been better. But he was weak in the first leg, and that Barca has paid for. Gerard Martin. Defensively, listen, we have to give him his flowers, but defensively, he hasn't been great. Positionally, he hasn't been good. He was fried by Dumfries too many times, and it just wasn't good enough on a defensive level. And of course, attacking as well, but especially defensively, if Balde was there, Barca probably go through. Barca probably go through if Balde's there, and it's just a shame. But we have to give him his flowers. He was a player that gave the 2 assists for the comeback. He was a player that gave the 2 assists for the comeback, and he put in great crosses as the game went on, especially after the second half. He just did not stop running. He was all over the pitch, and he was putting his heart into it. And that's why when you see him, I don't have the screenshot up, but when you see him crying after the game, you know what? It's fair play. He gave all he could. He gave the 2 assists. He did everything he can. But when you see Araujo in the background, not crying, playing like he did, giving up the goals, how do you feel bad for Araujo? You don't. If anything, you say he should leave. It's a shame, but Gerard Martin, he did what he can. He actually did very well for whatever his physical build-up is. He's not quick. He's not really agile, but he did whatever he could. And he should have had 3 assists that Garcia couldn't finish that shot. It's a shame, but Inigo Martinez, in general, a good game from him. The ratings don't show it, but in conceding 3 goals is always going to give you a defender's a low rating. But in general, a good game. And it was when he got subbed off for Araujo that Barca started conceding the goals once again, and it was just a shame. Kubarsi the same, his rating's a bit lower because of the penalty he gave up. That's a very good tackle in my opinion. Lautaro is lucky there. Lautaro is lucky that that Kubarsi touches his foot first. Lautaro is very lucky there that Kubarsi doesn't get to the ball because that was a very good tackle, but it has to be given as a penalty, and it is what it is. 6.2 rating. I don't know anything to tell the story. Kubarsi did what he could. Decent game from him. Eric Garcia had a very good game in my opinion. He was very good on the ball in the build-up. He did well defensively. Not the best, of course, but he did well defensively. It can't be the best if you're conceding 3 goals, but he did well, considering Inter had so much space to attack when they did attack. He got the goal. He should have had another goal. That was a shame that couldn't be finished, but like I said, yes, on a personal level, he should have shot it lower and to the right corner. But of course, like I said, the margins don't really fall in Barca's favor. So it's a shame, but good game from Garcia. He has done very well this season to compensate for players that have been injured overall. He deserves to stay because of this. Pedri, a good game overall. Nothing unbelievable, but as a midfielder involved, being all over the pitch, very good game from Pedri, and there was nothing more he could do. De Jong, not really a good game. Not a really good game from De Jong, and I mean, he had a lot of touches, of course, because Barca had the possession. Of course, he's going to have touches, but he wasn't really impactful. There were so many times where Barca would lose the ball. De Jong's one of the only midfielders back, and he's just not tracking back. He looks more disappointed that he has to track back rather than actually doing it. And this has happened with De Jong so many times where he doesn't want to run, or it's something wrong with him in mentality wise where just doesn't want to put in that extra effort. He's scared to go into challenges for the ball, and it just wasn't good enough from him. And if Barcelona had Casado at the very least, or if Marc Bernal was there, I guarantee you they don't concede 7 goals to Inter. They concede a maximum of 4 to 5. Maximum. But, like I said, the margins are not in Barcelona's favor, and it is what it is. Rafinha, to be honest, he got the goal for the 3-2. He did well with that. He did very well being all over the pitch and pressing and recovering to help the defense, but on the ball, not really too good. It's a typical get the goal and just complete cardio session from Rafinha, but nothing much he could do more than that. Olmo, he gave the goal away for the Lautaro goal. He gave the ball away, and it's a shame because he was supposed to be the X factor for the end of the season, and he just couldn't impose himself for Barcelona against Madrid, against these 2 legs against Inter, and it is a shame because his skill set. I know his skill set. I know what he can do if he does impose himself. I know what he did in the Euro Cup when he imposed himself against France, against England, against Germany. I know what he can do, and it's a shame because he just couldn't really grasp the game by the scruff of the neck. Once second half started, of course, he was much better. He did better in pressing and winning the ball from Inter players high up in the pitch. Of course, he got the goal. He just did better in general. I think he also created a big chance. Not sure. I don't think so. Maybe not. But he had a chance. He had a situation where he created a good shot for Yamal, and it's just a shame because nothing much he could do, you know. And if he imposed himself more, it would have been better. But he got the goal at least, and he had a better second half, and that's more of what he could have done. Then we go into Yamal. Yamal, I mean, what more could he have done? He was getting past players. He was taking shots. He was so unlucky not to score. I mean, Summer, where is he coming from, bro? Where do these goalkeepers come from and just end Barcelona's hopes of anything? They come into these games and save absolutely everything, bro. They save everything. Summer gets his fingernails onto the shots. The post saves him so many times in general. And Barcelona Yamal just couldn't score. He was all over the pitch. He was obviously the highest rated player of the pitch. It was all he could have done. It was a shame, but nothing much you can do. Ferran Torres, I mean, just non-existent, to be honest. Look, he played 90 minutes and he had 9 pass attempts. He just non-existent, bro. Non-existent. Like, it's just non-existent. Araujo, shameful. I mean, he was a main culprit for the loss and he only played 45 minutes, which is including the extra time. It's just a shame. I mean, Lopez, nothing much you can do. Lewandowski, I mean, he missed that open net. I mean, you got to finish his chances. You've got to finish. It's an open net. He hit the ball at the top of his head. Hit it with your forehead. You've got to finish that. Hector Ford, I mean, absolutely diabolical footballer. I'm done giving slack to players. I'm done saying, oh, fair play. He can have a role in the future. No, I'm done giving slack to players. He was absolutely woeful against Real Valladolid. He was woeful against Inter, and he just makes bad decisions on the ball. He's never where he needs to be defensively. Bad player. If you're a youngster in Barcelona and you're good, it will be shown immediately because the players that are young and good, they have a role immediately in the team. He has been woeful. I'm over it. Gavi, he should have started earlier. He should have been subbed in way earlier than what he did. He should have been He should have been subbed in after the 3-2. After Rafinha made it 3-2, he should have been in immediately. Maybe even earlier than that. Gavi should have been in immediately, and he would have been all over the midfield, stopping Inter attacks much more than whoever else was out there was doing. And it's a shame. That was a bad decision from Hansi Flick. He should have subbed on Gavi way earlier. And finally, Pau Victor came in as another attacking option. Couldn't really do much. Didn't really have an impact. It was just one of those things. And it's just a shame. There's nothing much more you can say. This was Barcelona's UCL to lose. This was Barcelona's UCL to lose because they had been the best team in the world this season. There's just nothing more they can do. And it's a shame. I mean, I've spoken about everything here. I've spoken about why Barca shouldn't have lost. I've spoken about the comeback. I've spoken about the players on an individual basis. I've spoken about Inter and why I don't respect that brand of football. I would have been way more happy or way more content with it if Barca lost to Bayern, an attacking team, if they lost to Man City, an attacking team, if they lost to Liverpool, a more balanced team. I just would have been way more, accepting of it. But it is what it is. Listen, this is Barca's season in the UCL done. I guess we have to say they go again next year, and hopefully they win it next year. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. They've got to win this Clasico now, because if they throw the league, it would be a massive shame